Brought to you by the Every Dollar app. Start budgeting for free today.
Welcome to the Ramsey Show, where we help you win in your life. We help you win with your money. We help you win in your work, and we want you to win in your relationships. I'm Ken Coleman. Rachel Cruze joins me this hour. 888-825-5225 is the phone number. That's 888-825-5225. Rachel is our resident money expert today. She's going to help you figure out how to spend it, how to budget it, how to save it, how to invest it. And then I'm going to help you make it. How about that? So it is your money, your life. So we got income and outflow is what we're going to work on today. So we want to help you. Let's get started with AJ in New York City. AJ, how can we help you today?
Hi. I'm just calling in because I got this big loan from my mom. And what happened was I was supposed to get a loan from the bank, but we didn't have a credit score. I was just a recent grad. So we took a loan from my mom, who I really don't have a good relationship with. And so it ended up being, we tried to ask her to do monthly payments, pay her back. And she wanted the whole payment in full. So then we actually had to end up getting a loan from a bank anyways. And I just feel like this loan is, I have two small kids. I just feel like this loan is stopping us from getting a house, just starting our life.
Sure.
It's a huge chunk of payments every single month.
How much is the loan in total? Did you borrow from her?
From her, I borrowed $41,000. 41.
Okay. And what was it for?
It was to start a business. My husband, he's an MMA fighter, and he opened up a fight gym. And, that was his dream, and he did it. We did it with that loan, but
is it making money?
Back. Right now, because it got closed down during COVID, and we're still recovering from that, I think this year, finally, he's making a little bit off of it now. And he's thinking to expand and things like that this year.
Okay.
Well, hold on a second. If we don't want to expand until he pays off the $41K, because the $41,000 is on the actual gym, the business itself, correct?
Yes.
Right.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
I would be cautioning him. Let's not expand. We actually, at this point, after he pays himself, is that your primary income as well, or has he got income from another, I'm guessing from his fighting?
Yeah, he does have income from fighting, and also I have income from my job as well.
What's your combined income? Let's not include the gym right now.
About $80,000 a year.
Okay.
And how long has it been? Because you said you borrowed this money before COVID. So how many years has it been?
Yeah. It's been that was in 2018. That was in 2018, and then the loan from the bank that we got was around 2 years ago, I want to say 2.5 years ago.
Okay, so you got the loan from the bank to pay your mom back. So your mom's no longer in the equation, correct? This is just okay.
No, that's
Which
good.
honestly, AJ, I know, I mean, in that case, to solidify or heal any part of the relationship, not having money in the middle of it, if that was ever to be a day, I think is better. I'd rather owe a bank than have a strain on a relationship, with a parent. Okay, so how can we best help you today? Is it figuring out how to find margin to help pay this loan off faster?
Absolutely. So I do want to find margin, but then there is a little twist in the story. So my husband, he has a student, and I guess the student is, very well off. He told my husband that he wants to invest $150,000 into the business to have a park. And so I'm wondering if you guys think that's a good idea. I think it's a great idea.
Okay, real quick clarification. I'm assuming that the $41,000 loan, that's in the name of the business, correct? Or is that a personal loan?
No, that loan actually is a personal loan. It's in our name.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
Okay, and then the student wants to come in now and give you guys $150,000 to be a partner in the gym.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so partnership and business, Ken can speak on that more. That's a whole other ball game in a sense that that's kind of changing the
I'd want to know the
way.
terms and that's a stickier situation. Dave has very strong opinions on partnerships. I'm not quite as anti that, but it comes down to there's got to be a really, really strong relationship, and there's got to be very, very clearly defined roles. But it sounds like a great idea to you because the business has been struggling. So a cash infusion of $150,000 on the surface does sound good. There's no question that it sounds good and it feels good. But we've got two separate issues. And without your husband on the phone and walking us through the terms, I'm limited in what advice I could give you. What I'd rather us do, Rachel, is focus on, okay, what we know is we've got an $80,000 combined income and we have a $41,000 personal loan. I thought that the loan was on the business side, but this is a personal loan. So you guys can clean this up and should clean this up, and that's why you called.
Yes, absolutely. Yep, that's the main reason. Yep.
For sure. What other debt do you guys have?
So then $5,000 in credit cards for me, and then for him around $10,000 in credit cards, and then 2 car payments. So on his, he owes around $6,000. I know. And then my car, I made a bad financial decision with this car, but I owe about $28,000 on this car.
Okay. So it's not even just this loan. It's kind of the way you guys have been living with money up until this point that's
absolutely
causing you to stress. And and I would, with an $80,000 income, you guys are kind of right at that brink of. And
then we pay for daycare. Another thing, so it's not a loan, but
totally.
You have more debt than you make. You're at about $90,000 in debt, if I'm doing quick math.
Yeah.
So AJ, I mean, honestly, when you're looking at the financial part of this quickly, I mean, money flows 2 ways, right? Money flows in, money flows out. And from the expenses side, you guys sitting down and together, you and your husband doing a household budget every single month and looking through and saying, what are the non-negotiables? So food, shelter, utilities, transportation. Next would be childcare. Next would be insurance, right? These things that we have to have. And then everything else down below that, I mean, I'm putting a full stop on, and that's going out to eat, that's subscriptions, that's vacations. I mean, any extra spending is just halted completely. And any luxury, anything that is that you're paying for convenience, stop. Like, this is down to the bare bones, and that's the outflow. And that's gonna help you guys get control of that income that hits every month. But then you're probably gonna look up, AJ, and realize, oh my gosh, we're not making enough to make a ton of headwind. So the income is where the problem is gonna be. And so for him and his full-time job is great, but what he's doing beyond that is the gym, and it's not making a ton right now, right? So I think you guys as a family have to say, hey, as a couple, where is our time best spent to get us out of this financial hole? Because until you guys have a solid financial foundation under you, are you going to be able to make clear decisions? You're not making clear decisions right now. Someone offers you $150K to have, in the gym, and you want to jump at it because there's cash right there, right? So I don't feel like you guys are making great decisions. And so there's something to be said of, hey, even though there was this dream and we have this investment, we have this stupid $40,000 loan to open this gym, where is our time best spent to bring in as much income as possible for the next 24, 36 months? And then beyond that, we can dream and say, hey, where do we want to go? But you guys started the opposite, and untangling that, it's going to be hard, but it's going to be needed to get any level of progress in this.
You can do the work. Hang on the line. I'm going to give you the Total Money Makeover book. You guys need to read that together. This is The Ramsey Show. So what does the future hold for business? Nobody really knows. If you ask 9 experts, you're going to get 10 answers. Are the robots going to replace us all, or will AI usher in a whole new world of work? But because there's no such thing as a crystal ball, more than 38,000 businesses have future-proofed themselves with NetSuite by Oracle, the #1 cloud enterprise resource planning system. NetSuite brings accounting, financial management, inventory, and HR into one fluid platform. With one unified business management suite, there's one source of truth, giving you the visibility and control you need to make quick decisions. Real-time insights and forecasting help you see into the future with actionable data. And when you're closing the books in days, not weeks, you're spending less time looking backward and more time focusing on what's next. Ramsey Solutions uses NetSuite, and you should too. Download the CFO's Guide to AI and Machine Learning at netsuite.com/Ramsey. The guide is free to you at netsuite.com/Ramsey. That's netsuite.com/Ramsey. Welcome back to the Ramsey Show. Thrilled to have you with us, America. I'm Ken Coleman. The fabulous Rachel Cruze is alongside today. 888-825-5225 is the phone number. We want to help you win. Rachel will help you with your money. I want to help you with your income. And let me tell you something. When you get control of your money and you start increasing your income, you are on your way to living like no one else. And that's what we want today. Let's go to Matt in Utica, New York. Matt, how can we help today?
Ken, Rachel, so excited to be on the show. Thank you so much for taking my call. In fact, I was in the middle of driving to the hospital. We are welcoming our third child into this world. And I had to pull to the side and try to call you guys, and so I was so thankful to get through.
Wait,
so here's
hold on. Rachel, take over, please.
Matt, your wife's in labor right now?
Yes, ma'am.
I don't know if Rachel
I don't even know if I want to talk to you right now. I feel like you need to.
Hey, I wanted to set a first for the show. She technically is not in labor. She's actually being induced, but not till later.
That's
so
fair.
I do have some
well,
time. And she knows this call is happening.
That helps.
You saw what I did there? I immediately went to Rachel and said, "Shall we proceed?"
Because Matt, if I was your wife in the car like I was with three babies and went down the interstate,
I got nervous.
Nice things were coming out of my mouth, so
I was nervous.
To the hospital
Matt,
and got some medication.
I mean, Matt, you made me nervous, like I was going to get in trouble. That's how. So I'm glad we settled that.
Okay.
So you're on the side of the road. You're safe.
I'm glad we started this call on a high note. I definitely want to get to my question.
Yeah,
go for
it. This kind of purpose.
But congrats. We didn't say congrats on the third baby. Congrats.
Thank you guys.
All right, what's going on?
Very excited and blessed. I appreciate you.
Good.
So here's the question. So my wife and I, we have had to move 3 different times for my work during the COVID era. And so we find ourselves now settled in a position in a home that was owned by her grandmother who has since passed. And now ownership belongs half to her mother and half to her aunt. We are the only ones living in the home right now, and we've assumed the mortgage, which has just $57,000 left on it, and the payment's about $480 a month. And we've obviously taken 100% of the mortgage, so we're just taking it. There was an offer.
Hold on.
Yes, sir.
Do you mean you're just paying the mortgage payment as like a rent? You haven't actually assumed
Essentially, it's a rent.
Okay, but the mortgage
isn't
in your name.
Correct.
Okay,
Correct.
I wanted to make sure that I understood that. Okay, go ahead.
So we ended up getting an assessment on the home to see the valuation of what it was, and it turns out it's worth $148,000. That was 3 months ago when we first moved in. We've been offered by her aunt to buy her out for a number of $38,000. And in that capacity, we would take on 50% ownership with her mother if we decided to move forward by paying her aunt $38,000.
And you're saying the house is worth $138.
And on
$148.
Oh, sorry, $148.
Okay. And you guys
So house is worth $148. Balance is $57K on mortgage. We were offered to buy her out for $38 to retain 50% essentially of the home's value.
No, I wouldn't do that. Rachel, do you agree or disagree?
Yeah, no. I mean, where all this gets really messy really fast, Matt, is when multiple people are on deeds and mortgages and ownership and equity, and you're paying rent, but it's not going to you. I mean, like, it gets really complicated really fast. So honestly, the cleanest way I would do this, number one, if you guys love this home, would you have bought this home if it wasn't in her family?
We would not.
Okay.
Yeah, there's your answer.
So I would rent for, 3-4 more months, get you guys in a position to go and buy your own home. Yeah. That's what I would do.
Your rent is peanuts anyway. Peanuts.
It's peanuts. And the caveat to all of this is any improvement we've made. So in other words, if we wanted to put a mini split in, which is something we're working on, if we just put a fence in, for example.
I wouldn't have done that.
You're adding value to this house that you have no ownership in.
Yeah, I wouldn't have done it.
Exactly. So the deal is that if mom has to come out of pocket for her 50%, she's making us whole for every dollar that we've spent. We have nothing contractual on that. It was just a verbal agreement.
She just said that. Okay.
Oh,
well,
it's nice if she does it.
If
It's
she
great.
does it, but I know lots of situations where parents are like, I'll pay for that, and then they don't end up paying. Yeah, Matt. I mean, I think if this was a house you guys loved, it's in the family, and they're giving you a great deal, I would just buy it outright, get everyone off the mortgage, get everyone off the deed of the house. Like, you and your wife assume it as your house, you pay the mortgage, and you drive off into the sunset. But if this is not a house that you would not have bought, then if I were you and your wife, I would be looking to say, hey, and now you can rent this as a renter for the period of time while you guys save up a good down payment.
But no more
for another
improvements.
house. But I wouldn't do any more improvements, and I wouldn't try to piecemeal this together because it gets complicated so fast, and it's a much cleaner.
I have a follow-up question with that said.
We will allow it.
Just because you have a baby
We
coming.
will allow
so
it.
we
I
will.
really appreciate the follow-up here, guys, and your time. So in a what-if scenario, because this is more hypothetical, I can't speak for the aunt, but she is the one of the two that's more motivated to basically turn this into money, to liquidate the home.
Yeah.
What if she comes back and says, if that's your plan to rent, we would prefer to move forward with sale of it, thus
Gotcha.
then creating a very different situation
Yep,
for
then
us
you
by
and your wife
us
would
having to leave.
Yeah,
So-
then y'all would
so
have
you
to
move.
go. So you move and you rent somewhere.
It doesn't change everything that Rachel said. What Rachel said is spot on. It's just straight up wisdom she threw at you. You don't want to live in this house long term. So don't even start entertaining the idea of, whoa, what if? It's time to move on.
Yeah, the only reason I would settle for a house that I don't really love is if you get a great deal on it. And there are some family situations where they're like, "Hey, we'll give you, we'll sell the house for 75% of what it's worth, and you get a good deal. You guys get in it, and financially it's smart. But if it's not apples to apples, you guys don't like it, and they're not going to give you a great deal.
Yeah.
I
Well, you're not
wouldn't-
even
I wouldn't
getting
be
the
in
whole
it.
house. You have to share it with mom, which is weird. And Rachel
So
addressed
mom
that.
actually doesn't live in-house.
Doesn't
and
matter.
She has
But
her
the
own
ownership.
home.
But she owns it.
The ownership part.
You're-
Gotcha. Yep.
Matt, I got to say something to you, and I'm gonna give you a pass because you pulled over the side of the road and you got a baby on the way, but I'm not feeling like you're hearing what we're saying. And you called us, and that's our opinion, but it feels to me like
Why do you feel
want
like
to do
that?
this.
Because you feel like he wants to do it.
He's like, but
What do you,
if?
Matt?
But
What do you
if?
want to do? What do you want to do? What do you and your wife want to do?
So Ken, it's a great point, and I've been told all my life that I'm hard-headed, so I'll take that feedback.
Wow.
Appreciate that. No, but also I am listening. I'm going to take everything you guys say as gold. I promise you that. You guys mean a lot to me. You've done a lot of good things in my life. I'm debt-free. I've got some money in the bank. We feel good about our life situation. That's in large part due to Ramsey
Good for
and all
you,
you.
Matt.
So thank you. What I would say, though, what I want to do is keep expenses extremely low. And to your point, yeah, I got to make the best move, but I'm trying to keep my expenses super low so I can buy my next home in cash. And we're about halfway there, and I just projected out about 18 more months where I can get more cash flow and being able to do that. So that's kind of my other thing. And the thing that hangs in the balance is I just don't know where I'll be long term. So to purchase another home, if I get promoted again, for example, I don't know what that's going to look like. Moving again just seems like a tall order.
Okay, totally hear you. So I would sit down with aunt and mom. I would lay out the Matt formula of which you have laid out. Because if you keep renting, we're not mad at that. But like you said, the asterisk here is that aunt wants to get out and mom wants cash and they want to sell and be done with it, right? So that puts a wrinkle in your plan. But then the other thing is too, Matt, if you guys are not going to be somewhere 5 years or more, it wouldn't even be worth buying at that point, even 4 years.
That's right.
I don't think that's a smart use of your money and time and energy and all of it. So what's the probability that you guys will move in the next 4 to 5 years?
Likely. I would venture to guess 75% chance.
Okay. So honestly, Matt, if I were you, I mean, you have a new baby coming, which just like adds to the stress. Man, I'd go find a nice, great house. I would rent 3 years and then you're going to move.
I'm 100% agreement.
Like, go get a great house and rent it with your family.
And I appreciate that you're trying to save some cash flow by staying in this current house. So if auntie wants to kick you out, you're going, crap, now I got this super low rent and I got to pay more. But you don't sacrifice your long-term plans for a monthly number when you're getting paid well enough. You can afford to rent. You're a big boy. That's what we're trying to say.
And then if you get 2 years down the road and it looks like your job that no, you will be here full time, you guys will have a ton of money in the bank to go and put a big down payment on a house and
All right, now,
have your roots planted.
Matt, we've done all we can do. You got to get back on the road. Get to the hospital. You got a child on the way, for heaven's sakes.
I cannot believe that. Unbelievable.
Oh, my
God bless your
goodness.
wife.
God bless all of you. This is The Ramsey Show.
This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. All right, we all know I'm a pretty big nerd. I love learning new things. And it's one of the reasons why I spent most of my adult life in a classroom, either as a student, a graduate student, or a professor. So the flurry of activity this time of year around kids going back to school, it reminds me of my love for learning. And even if school wasn't your thing, I guarantee you there are things that you loved learning about over the years. Gardening, hunting, medicine, Shakespeare, and if we're honest, most of us love learning about new things, anything, except about ourselves. This fall, I want to challenge you. Become curious about yourself. Why do you react the way you do? Why do you get so angry when this happens? Why do you feel the way you do? Therapy is an amazing place to learn more about you. It helps you regain your sense of curiosity, wonder, and excitement about yourself and the world. And if you're considering therapy, I want you to call my friends at BetterHelp. BetterHelp is 100% online therapy staffed with licensed therapists. You can talk with your therapist anywhere, so it's convenient for just about any schedule. You fill out a brief online survey and you'll get matched with a therapist, and you can change therapists at any time for no extra charge. Let's be curious about ourselves this year. Visit BetterHelp.com/Ramsey Radio to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Ramsey Radio.
Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. Rachel Cruze is with me. I'm Ken Coleman, and we are here for you to help you win with your money. Speaking of which, our colleague, Dr. John Deloney, and the Every Dollar team are doing a free live training Friday, September 27th at 1 Eastern, 12 Central. So you can lunch and learn here. It's a free webinar, everydollar.com/webinar, everydollar.com/webinar. And we've been doing these. We've been telling you about these throughout the last month or two. We're doing more of these as the Ramsey personalities jump in to help out. And so if you want more breathing room, you want to learn how to spend money without anxiety and guilt, emotional awareness around your money, Dr. John Dillon is going to be walking you through that with the Every Dollar team. So again, September 27th, 1 Eastern, 12 Central. everydollar.com/webinar. All right, Ryan is going to join us now in Orlando, Florida. Ryan, how can we help?
Hey, how's it going? Thanks so much for taking my call.
Sure.
So my question, I'm 31, my wife's 28. We just got married about 6 months ago. I'm kind of a weirdo in that I've worked at my job in finance for the last 10 years at the same company, but kind of getting to the point where I want to quit my job at the beginning of next year, so 2025. And we're thinking this would be a good opportunity to kind of take 4 to 6 months and maybe do something like move to Europe. We've kind of lived like no one else. We've saved up a good bit over our lives. And so we have about $700,000 of net worth, no debt other than the house. We would probably sell the house if we did go out there for those 6 months, but kind of wanting to have kids in the next 1 to 3 years. And so this is kind of our main shot from a timing standpoint. So wondering if that makes sense from a financial standpoint.
What do you do for a living?
I'm in finance. I work at a bank.
And how much do you have saved beyond your emergency fund?
Yeah, so we have about $90,000 of cash, about $100,000 in our brokerage, about $225,000 in our retirement, about $275,000 in our home equity, and then about $35,000 in kind of other stuff. I'm
ready to rule, Rachel. I'm ready.
What was the first number? I just kept thinking, I want a man in finance, a trust fund. Is that Ryan? Is he the guy the internet's been looking for?
Yeah,
sorry.
6 foot, blue eyes. I try to keep in decent shape.
That's so funny. Okay, sorry, I missed the first number. I picked up at $150,000 in a brokerage account. Did you have a number before that?
Sorry, yeah, it's 85 in cash.
Okay, 85 in
100
cash.
in brokerage account.
Perfect. Okay, I just want to make sure I got it.
I say do it.
Yep.
I say do it because you can jump back in that industry. You've worked in that industry for 10 years. You can explain your gap. I think it's pretty stinking awesome. And I think if I were in your particular situation, I'd absolutely say do this because you're in financial ability to do it. It's not risky at all.
Yeah, you're not taking on debt. From a long-term financial standpoint, pausing for 6 months, you're fine. There's nothing.
I think it's a great move.
The house, though, is a question for me. Why would you guys want to sell the house? Obviously, because you're not living there for 6 months and you'd be paying, a mortgage and rent. But that's just for 6 months. I'd hate for you to lose out.
Wait a second. How long is the Europe adventure?
It would be about 6 months.
Oh, okay. I thought I heard something different.
I felt it.
Yeah, and I think the reason we want to sell the house is we're thinking about maybe moving up in house, so it'd be like a good break to sell.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
I love everything about it, man.
It's great.
Pocket the cash. You don't need the cash for the Europe adventure, correct? You're not going to borrow from the...
No, we don't. No.
I
Quick
like
follow-up
it.
question. So my wife works in telehealth, and she could work part-time there and kind of wants to work like 3 days a week.
Yeah.
Do you think that's smart, or just go ahead and actually enjoy our time there and spend full time?
Oh, I'm weighing in on this one too, Rachel. I think I would have her. I would live off of. I would take that would be the fun money.
Yeah.
I would try to live off as much like the Europe trip. Yeah, if she can do it,
and she wants to,
and
that's
she
the key.
wants to now because you're over there, feet up in the air. With your mid-morning juice, and she's over there doing telehealth. I don't know how long that's going to last when you're in Paris, but
so true.
But if she's willing, Rachel's right.
Yeah, she may want like a routine, and she's thinking, okay, this isn't for 3 weeks. For 6 months, we're going to be somewhere. I kind of want a little bit of a routine. And
that's spa money is the way I'm looking at it, Rachel. I'd be allocating that on the
some dinners
on the budget. Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of how we thought to do it cost neutral so that it wouldn't end up actually being anything out of pocket.
Are you kidding me? If she's a great woman if she'll do that.
Oh yeah.
She's a great woman.
Jackpot.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, do it, Ryan. That's awesome.
What countries? I got to know. What countries are we looking at?
I think we would probably start off somewhere in Portugal. She really likes France, and then we kind of just keep moving to the east, maybe Germany and Austria, and then into like Slovenia area.
My goodness.
It's great.
I feel like you might need a mentor couple. Stacey and I would be available.
All right. We'll get you guys out there.
We would love to mentor you guys through that trip. That's really fun. Good for you. Hey, I love this, Rachel. This is a great story here. 31 and 28, if I recall. He's 31, she's 28. And the fact that they can do this before baby.
And
this is the spice of life.
Well, and this
is great.
And this is to the degree that we talk about living and giving like no one else, right? Yeah. When you have no payments, you have money in retirement that's going to be growing. Like you've set yourself up so early in life.
I love this.
That you were able, you know what I mean, to say, hey, this is the choice and what I want to do. Because that's what money is. I mean, out of all of that we talk about, it's to have, our job is to help you guys have a plan to have peace with your money in your life, have a sense of peace, and to allow money to be a tool to create a life that you love, right? That's what it is. It's not a scorecard. It's not a net worth, this idea that my net worth is my self-worth. It's not who I am is the number in my account. Like it's none of that. It is just paper there in a sense, right? To use on your life to help your family, enjoy life, help others, enhance your life, all of that. That's what it's here for. And you guys are doing it well and in a wise way. Yeah,
I think years from now, you guys will be still talking about this decision. I think it's a great decision as a couple. I couldn't endorse it anymore. Fantastic. Let's go to Bryce now, who's waiting on the line for us in Houston, Texas. Bryce, how can we help?
Hello. I'm 21 years old, and for the last 3 years, I've been working in the oil field, and I got laid off about 2 months ago, and I want to do a career change and join the military to better my future. The only problem I'm having is I have a 2021 F-150, and I'm upside down on it, and I don't want to repo it and ruin my credit because I'm trying to better my future. You know what I mean?
Yeah, how much upside down are you?
About $10,000 to $15,000.
So how much is the car? How much do you have left on it to pay? How much is left on the loan?
I owe, but I think it was last month I checked, it was 50 and some change.
50,000?
Yes, ma'am.
Ooh.
And it's worth 35. Is that what we're hearing?
Yes, sir.
And where'd you get that 35 number from?
On on the website to
like Kelly Blue Book.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
You got any cash?
No, sir. No, not a lot.
And any job? Are you working at all?
So like I said, I was laid off about 2 months ago, and I've been joining the military. I just got out of MEPS yesterday, actually.
Okay. So when does all that start full gear?
When did what start? I'm sorry.
Military. When do
Military,
you start
yeah.
getting paid?
Whenever I go to boot camp, which will be pretty soon. I got to go back to MEPS one time for a job list, and then I'll get my boot camp date.
Okay. And what?
Whenever I start boot camp.
Okay. And that's pretty soon after, meaning like a week after or like a month after?
It could be a month.
Okay.
It
So,
could be a month or
I mean,
two.
honestly, Bryce, I'd go wait tables. I'd go work nights. I would go do anything that you can just to earn some cash right now. I know that's not your long-term plan, but the ideal situation would be to get as much cash as possible. And even if you're still upside down, $3,000 or $4,000 by the time boot camp starts, you can take out a small loan for that difference and sell the truck. And then you have $3,000 that you owe versus $50,000. But I would make it a goal to do as much as you can here in the next 6 weeks to earn extra income. And again, that can be through any means to be able to get some cash. But that's what I would do. But if worse comes to worse, do not go down the repossession route. Don't let it get repoed, any of that. Stay on top of your payments. And if you have to take a small loan out for the difference, sell it, be done with it. And I'd rather have a smaller loan than a $50,000 loan on a truck.
Yeah, you want to move this truck. If you can't pay it off, get that difference made up quickly. You want to sell this thing quickly so that you have the least amount that you're going to have to pay back. So get the highest value for this and then learn from this. All right? You don't need the big giant truck to be successful, to be who you are. So thanks for the call. Thanks for your service and signing up to serve our country. You're a great American. All right, we'll be right back. This is The Ramsey Show.
So, George, we talk a lot about identity theft, and we take calls from people that do, but yours actually got stolen.
Well, don't say it with that much happiness, Dave. It's true.
Gosh.
I do not recommend it if you can avoid it at all costs. And that's when I was much younger. I had worse hair and a negative net worth. But I worked at Ramsey at the time, and so I was covered by Xander ID theft protection. So thanks, Dave, for covering all of us here.
Absolutely. Well, one thing, Xander helps us do that. So it's a great benefit for the team, but it's a great benefit for everybody because Jeff Xander and I have been working together for, 25 years. We've been doing stuff together since before there was an internet. And so when the internet came on and identity theft became this real serious problem, he and I started talking about it, and he went and figured out a way to build an identity theft protection for the Ramsey tribe. That's how the whole thing started at Xander. And it's the most complete because he customized it. He custom built it from the ground up. It's the most complete and cost-effective protection out there. It's the best identity theft out there.
Yeah, I was raised by the internet as a millennial, Dave, and it's scary knowing how many websites are out there with my information. So Xander ID Theft, they bundle all the cyber tools I need to protect my identity. They've got VPN encryption, 24/7 customer and recovery services, and even home title monitoring. So even if your ID does get stolen, they help you, like they did me, by restoring your life back to normal with up to $2 million in protection for stolen funds, which is incredible.
That's a big deal. So, guys, you can't go without ID theft protection in today's world. It's just too much going on. There's too many people have already stolen your identity. It's out there floating around. You've got to have this full recovery protection. Xander is the best. So, Xander.com. Or call 800-356-4282 for the most complete identity theft protection out there. Xander.com, 800-356-4282.
How you doing out there, America? Thrilled to have you with us. I'm Ken Coleman. Rachel Cruze is with me, and this is The Ramsey Show. 888-825-5225 is the phone number. We'd love to hear from you. We want to coach you up today. 888-825-5225. Danny is up next in West Palm Beach, Florida. Danny, how can we help today?
Hi, Rachel. Hi, Ken. Thank you so much for taking my call. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Well, pretty much, I purchased my home in 2015, and it's an older home. And now I feel like there's so many home improvements that I need to make, but I don't have the money. And I was wondering if it would be a good idea to take a home equity or a HELOC loan to fix these things before they completely break down on me.
So what kind of repairs are you needing to make on the house?
Well, recently I noticed there was a spot in the ceiling that had mold, and I'm assuming that water is getting into the attic somehow. So I need to fix my roof and some of my doors and windows.
Doors and windows, okay. Has someone, have you had a professional come out and look at the mold and look at the leak and look at the roof, or is this your assessment of it all?
This is my assessment. I haven't done that yet because I'm afraid of what I might hear.
Yeah. So what I would do, Danny, is I would probably get honestly 2 to 3 different people, companies, service companies out to get 3 different bids, because I feel like sometimes in this industry, I don't know if you feel like this, Ken, that it's like the dentist. I feel like you can go to one dentist and they're like, you need a root canal, and you go to the other dentist and they're like,
got a different
you need this. Yeah. So the opinion is going to equal money in this instance. So the more opinions you have, the more options you have. So Danny, facts are going to be your friends. Our friend Dr. John Deloney always says that. So in your head, you just said, I'm scared to do that because I'm scared of, what this is going to mean. But I wouldn't even go there right now emotionally, because you don't even know. You could get someone over there and they're like, oh yeah, there's this right here in this one little patch. Like our roof, Danny, we had to do some work on ours, and it was in one area, and insurance covered it. So it was like, oh, okay. So it may not be as big of a deal as you think it is. But then if it is, then we have to make a game plan. So do you have like good home insurance and everything for some of this stuff? If it comes back really damaged and you're able to possibly get some insurance money?
Well, I have insurance. I pay for it. That I know, but I don't know what it covers, to be honest.
Okay, so I may call your insurance company and just, double check your coverage and know what that is. And then I would get, again, 2 to 3 people, and I would get reputable people. If there's other people in your neighborhood that have used someone that they can recommend, I always find that's very helpful to find someone that's trustworthy. But again, get 2 to 3 different bids on these improvements, and then from there, make some assessments. So overall, though, Danny, I would not go deeper into debt on this house. I would not take out a HELOC. I would not take equity out to fix this stuff. I would figure out a way to cash flow it and prioritize it. So do you have any money saved at all?
I have my emergency fund.
Okay, how much is that?
$1,000.
$1,000 emergency fund. Okay, perfect. Are you working your way out of debt?
Yes. I started listening to the Dave Ramsey show about 2 years ago, and I'm doing my best to be in a better place financially. But it's really hard. I do have 2 jobs, and life has been really hard because something always comes up and kind of throws me off that budget.
Absolutely. Well, I'm proud of you for doing this. I mean, you've made great. You're making progress, even though you feel like you're maybe 2 steps backwards, right? 4 steps forward, or whatever it looks like. That is life, during the baby steps, which can be difficult. But I would keep going, on paying off this debt, and then once you get some bids, Danny, if it is work that has to be done, right? There are some cosmetic work that we would like, new windows and doors, but they may be fine for another 2 years, right? I mean, like if you can put anything off, I would just do the necessities, the bare bones, and I would pause the debt snowball, save up and pay for those repairs, because that's part of your 4 walls. I mean, that's food, shelter, utilities, transportation, making sure that those things are covered. And again, I will say it again, get multiple bids, because some people, they just go get one roofer and they quote this insane amount.
That's exactly right.
And then you could have had someone else. It's like, no, I could actually probably fix it for way less. And they don't work for a big company and they do it on their own, or whatever it looks like, right? So get some options, Danny. And if it causes you to pause it at snowball to fix these, then that's what I would do.
Yeah. And I've just had a little bit of experience on this, and shockingly, there are some dishonest contractors out there.
That's true, yeah.
But even with honest ones, they're coming in and there's an exchange for time, their time, and your money. And I think it's always great to get at least 3 quotes. And I'll tell you why. I like to, Rachel, when someone comes in, I go, well, the last guy said this, and this is what he said he would do. And what happens is it just comes down to everybody's got their own opinion, and everybody loves their opinion.
Yeah.
And by contrasting
And believe it's
comparing,
right deep down.
that's right.
Right,
But you might have one guy go, well, he told you too much. I can beat that by it. I'm telling you, you can actually get a lower price and a little bit more honest thing by doing that and tell everybody, each contractor, what the other one said and what they do.
Yeah, and that's
You'd be surprised how that works.
Totally. And what that does, Danny, what Ken just said, is it puts you in the power seat.
Yeah.
I think sometimes when you enter into parts of life, or for me, that I'm not super knowledgeable on, it can be intimidating, right? Getting your car fixed or whatever, that I'm like, I don't even know if I know what they're really talking about. But the more that you have knowledge, understanding, and other people's opinions, like you're saying, you get to go in now with the power to say, oh no, but I learned this and this. Well, what about that? And have that question. So there's some learnings here. But again, Danny, I would only fix things that are absolutely needed in this time right now. As much as you can focus on that debt snowball and getting through that, that's going to be so helpful when those payments are out. You're going to have more margin to do more fixing in this house, if that's what you want to do.
All right, so Rachel, we're going to go to a social media question, and I feel like this one has got Rachel all over it.
Oh, okay.
So I've picked this one. This is from Valley Farmhouse. That sounds like somebody that would follow you.
Sounds magical.
Yeah, right. It feels like somebody who already follows you is my guess. It's a good question on Instagram.
Okay.
How do I budget for baby items and still tackle debt? I feel guilty not having a finished nursery.
Oh.
What say you?
That's a first-time parent. Because by the third
100%.
kid, you're like,
Nursery? It's just another room.
You should still see my kids, Charles's room. He's 4, almost 5, and I'm like, yeah, you got a bed. You got a nice bed. We got him a nice bed. But besides that, there's not really much going on in that room. No, oh gosh, yeah. The nursery, all that. I would not feel guilt about that. The baby's gonna be fine. And the truth is, the baby's in your room. I mean, I guess depending on how you do the newborn stage, but for at least 6 weeks, usually.
Really?
Was it 6 weeks?
No.
Yeah. Now, some people it's years, so don't be judgmental.
We read. Okay, you're right. I read a book. You know the book,
and I read it too.
And we had the kids in their bedrooms day one.
Oh, day one.
Oh yeah.
No, yeah, we weren't day one. I think it was 6 weeks. I was early though for some of my friends.
There's a young lady in the audience that looked at me like I'm a caveman. We did feed and clothe the child.
Oh my God.
We did do that. I'm saying when it was nighttime, baby went to bed in the crib, and we had a monitor, and we were up when we needed to be up. We didn't, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We didn't let it sleep outside. But sleeping in our room, this particular book, and I don't want to say it because I'm not trying to endorse anything, but I'm saying...
I'll say it because we did it too.
By 8 weeks, all 3 of our kids were sleeping 8 hours.
Ours were too, y'all. Sleep schedule. We're about to get hate.
Ken is a caveman
on YouTube.
He is so insensitive.
People are gonna hate this advice, but I know.
I'm not saying, by the way, let me be clear. I'm not saying you're a bad parent if the kid sleeps in your room with you. I'm just saying, I'm not casting judgment.
No.
I'm just saying.
What you did. So what you did is, yes, you would have more of a finished, more of a furnished nursery. So what I would say to her,
you know what she's talking about. The curtains and the pillows.
Yeah, all of it, yeah. And while you're getting out of debt and you're having a baby, once they becomes, that baby, whatever age, or number it is in the family, it may not have the nicest stroller. It may not have the nicest gear because you're going to probably go cheap on it.
Right.
But once you're out of debt and you have a fully funded emergency fund and you have another baby, you get to have the nice stuff because you have the cash for it. And it's great.
The baby's fine. I was born in the 70s. I slept in a tree the first 4 years. All right. So, come on. I kid. Rachel Cruze, always fun to be with you, my friend. Thanks for hanging out. And for you, America, thank you for being with us. This is your show. This is The Ramsey Show.
Before we get to the next caller, I got some good news for you. Even when this portion of today's show runs out of time, there's still plenty more for you to tune into. Just head on over to the Ramsey Network app to finish today's show for free, right there on the home screen. And if you don't have the app, just search Ramsey Network in the App Store, Google Play Store, or click the link in the show notes for an easy download. You never know what call's coming up next. So finish today's episode in the Ramsey Network app today. Brought to you by the EveryDollar app. Start budgeting for free today.
Welcome to the Ramsey Show, where we help you win. We help you win with your money. We help you win in your work. We help you win in your relationships. 888-825-5225 is the phone number. We'd love to have you jump in. 888-825-5225. Rachel Cruze, the incomparable Rachel Cruze, is our money expert in the seat today, and I'm thrilled to be with her. I'm Ken Coleman. I'll be captaining the good ship, Financial Peace, today. Thought I'd try that out.
Set sail, Captain.
I couldn't even get it out without cracking. That's terribly cheesy, but hey, it's always fun. And we're thrilled to be here with you. As I said, I'm going to help you with your income. Rachel will help you with what we do with that money. So let's get it started. Kent is up first in Indianapolis. Kent, how can we help?
Well, I'm trying to find a way to communicate with a 28-year-old nephew and get them to buy into the Ramsey way. About 20 years ago, you guys sold a product for, I think, junior high kids. I got all 4 of my nephews that product for Christmas, and all 3 of them are doing pretty well. One of them is going to have his home paid for before he's 40.
Wow.
But this one nephew, he's got a good job. He's not in debt, but he's wanting to buy him a $60,000 new car. He's paying $2,500 in rent. I'd like to find a way for him to go through and decide what are really needs versus wants. But it's hard to get through to him. You know, he's not in debt, but I don't think he's got a lot of wants that he pays for every month that he just maybe, I don't know, I think it's kind of not necessary items, but it's hard to get through to him. You know, homes, interest rates are too high, or the home prices have gone up too much. I try to explain to him, you know, we went through similar things in the 80s, but I just can't seem to make headway with him. I tried to give him one year, I was going to match him dollar for dollar and gift him some money to put into an IRA. He could only come up with $1,000 or $2,000. And
well, so he's 28, number one. He's 28, yeah. Number one. And number two, he's your nephew. So he's not even your son. So, you know, this kind of, It feels like for you, something that you're trying, and again, you're not doing anything wrong. I just think I think you're putting too much pressure on yourself to try to, you know, get through to him, you know?
Part of that is I never had kids, so I'm pretty close to my nephews.
Got it.
And I'm just trying, I've seen from example, you know, living debt-free, right. I mean, it sets you free at some point.
Sure.
Yeah. And he's not currently using debt to fund this lifestyle. Is that right? He's just using his money in a wasteful way, in your opinion.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. So I'd like him to come across something and say, hey, maybe if I did this differently, I could do this or that. But I don't want to preach too much to him, but at the same time, I want him to kind of realize on his own.
Okay, there's the key phrase, all right? He's got to realize on his own. This is the first time in this call where you got outside of this self-imposed pressure to get through to your nephew because you're such a good dude, okay? You're your uncle of the year, Kent. But he's got to realize this on his own. The other two, for whatever reason, they got it. He hasn't picked up on it. So I would liken this to a parent raising multiple children, and some are going to get it quicker than others. Some you might have a prodigal or whatever. In this case, I wouldn't qualify this nephew as a prodigal, but what I would tell you is I would give him the Total Money Makeover or George Camel's book. In fact, if you don't have George's book, I'll give that to you. I just think it's such a fabulous book, and give it to him, and then let it go. And he knows what you believe. You've told him over and over and over again.
Oh yeah, he knows and he's seen.
Right. So here's my point. Yeah. When he gets to a point where he has realized some money pain, there's a good chance he's calling you. True or false?
Yeah, probably.
I think that's all you can do. Rachel, do you have a different take on that?
And I would be, Kent, how old are you?
I'm 66.
Okay, so you're 66. He's 28. So what he spends his money on, and again, he's not using debt, right? So he's not,
No,
in a way you could say,
debt.
yeah, so you for you think that's so silly, that's so stupid. Why would he spend his money on that? But the truth is too, people value different things in life. And what, Winston and I spend on a weekend away,
true.
people may be like, that is so stupid. What a waste of money. But it is. I bought a Tesla. My dad couldn't believe that I bought an electric car, and he thinks it's the stupidest thing ever.
I
And
understand.
but I want a Tesla, and I don't care what the 60-year-old guy, even though I love my dad and respect him, but I want to. I'm not living for him or
It's
what
pretty
he
cool.
likes.
She parks it next to me. It's pretty cool.
And I park next to him too, which is funny.
That is funny. Yeah.
I charge next to
spent-
his.
When I was younger,
Yeah.
I spent stuff on stuff with my parents, nice trips and things. But I also, I did that outside of, I would always.
Yeah, but Kent,
still say-
Kent, you are different than him, and you keep coming back to the, I did this, I did that.
And I think too, he's going to learn,
understand.
Kent, because even for me, right? I didn't go into debt. I was budgeting all of it. But part of my financial struggle, it was the comparison game. It was accumulating. I'm a spender. I enjoy spending money. So I had to get to a point in my life where I finally just realized, Rachel, what is the motivation in all of this? And I had to learn all of that, right? And so people's journey, even with money, is going to look different, and the lessons they're going to learn are different. And you know what I mean? And that's
I'll try.
for him.
I'll try that approach and see what happens.
Yeah, Ken, I would just be there for him. Be a friend, be an uncle that you don't have to teach him everything. And the fact he's a 28-year-old man, and the most beautiful relationships are those that were in authority in your life, and they end up kind of becoming peers with you.
Yeah.
You actually respect those people a lot more. I mean, mom and dad, I laugh all the time. I'm like, they are not perfect people. Love them. But one thing they've done so well is they treat us like adults. They're no longer preaching or telling us what we should and shouldn't be doing. Right. They don't do that. They just are like, how's life? How you doing? And it's a relationship at that point, right? So you may actually be turning off the relationship by continuing to teach and preach. He probably is saying, Uncle Kent, let me live. I'm okay,
Yeah. I think I do the soft sell. I see him only 3 or 4 times a year, and it's, I don't go overboard. But
sure. Okay. Yeah.
I just like to find some way that he could decide on his own.
Yeah, and I think one of the best ways to help people get there, for them to realize on their own, is asking questions. Mm-hmm. And there's there would be an interesting exercise for you in the next conversation with money, is you don't tell him anything what to do. You ask questions.
That's great.
And be like, okay, so what are you doing with there? How was that? And
I think that's incredible advice.
I'll try that approach.
Yeah, because what happens is now you're entering into a conversation by handing him the ball. You're asking, you're not making a statement. And I'd give him a few resources. Hang on the line. I think Breaking Free from Broke is a fun book from George. It's just kind of hey, I listen to this show. This is a young guy. Yeah, he's got a great YouTube channel.
Ken, I
just
appreciate,
keep it simple.
And I appreciate your heart. I really do. I mean, the fact that 20 years ago you gave them as students, foundations in personal finance, and you know what I mean. You've done
Uncle of the Year.
And honestly, the fact he's 28 and isn't in debt, that's a win for our world today.
Yeah, that's a great point.
I'm like, that's amazing.
Yeah, take
that's
a victory
amazing.
lap.
You've done, you have loved your nephews really well, and I bet a lot of people wish they had an Uncle Kent in their life. So, I appreciate you. Helping out.
So fun. Thank you for the call. What a great heart. Good stuff. Great advice, Rachel. That's really good. All right, quick break. We got to pay some bills, this is the Ramsey Show. We're on time, and we'll be right back. This is the Ramsey Show.
You've been gazelle intense, you've eaten more beans and rice than you knew existed, and now you're ready to make your biggest investment better. Blinds.com is a great way to dress up a room or your entire home. Whether you're comfortable with do-it-yourself projects, or you don't even know what a Phillips head screwdriver is, well, trust Blinds.com to take care of you like Ramsey would. You can do the measuring and installation yourself, or you can let Blinds.com's professionals handle everything for you. Blinds.com offers a completely hassle-free experience. Count on them to deliver stylish window treatments from premium brands without the premium markup. You'll never have to deal with pushy salespeople in your home just to get a quote. But you can count on free shipping, free samples, and a 100% satisfaction guarantee so that you can rest easy. That's why we've recommended Blinds.com for over 10 years. Get 40% off site-wide for a limited time at Blinds.com. That's Blinds.com. Rules and restrictions may apply.
Thrilled to have you with us here on The Ramsey Show. I'm Ken Coleman. Rachel Cruze is with me. 888-825-5225 is the phone number. We'd love to coach you up, taking your calls about your money, your income. That's a work-related situation from time to time, obviously. 888-825-5225. Long Island is where Lisa is waiting for us. Lisa, how can we help today?
Hi, Rachel and Ken. Thanks so much for taking my call.
You bet. What's up?
My husband is not eligible for life insurance. We've been denied many times due to health issues in the past. And my question for you is, we're going to be debt-free except for our mortgage at the end of this year.
Wow, great job.
And I want to know, thank you. I want to know if I should be taking that money that we were putting towards our debt and putting it into our outstanding mortgage, or if I should just be stocking it away and making like a huge emergency fund.
What's your emergency fund now? Is it more on the 6-month side?
Well, right now we just have this $1,000 emergency fund.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's right, because you're working away on debt.
So, Lisa, is this the way you asked that question? Is this basically you're saying because your husband can't get life insurance, should we have a massive savings account, or should we pay off the home? Is that what you're essentially asking?
Yes.
Yeah, the home. The home has got greater value than that savings account just because of where you're at right now. What is the house worth right now?
It's probably worth about $450, and we owe about $195.5 on it.
Yeah. Do you agree with that,
Yeah,
Rachel?
for sure. I mean, I would, when we say baby step 3, it's 3 to 6 months of expenses. And for you, I would definitely lean on the 6-month side. So I would have a 6-month emergency fund, not the 3-month on that end of the spectrum. And with his health condition, Lisa, is he, are you guys on ongoing, medical treatments? Is there a diagnosis? Is there something that's could be happening in the near future to him and his health, or is it just?
He does not currently have ongoing issues, no, but I have seen, changes in him. He works a lot.
Okay.
And I could see him kind of deteriorating.
Why did he not qualify? If you don't mind asking, if you don't mind me asking.
Yeah, that's okay. When he was 29, we were still dating actually, and he needed bypass surgery.
Ah.
Okay. Yeah.
So they're just kind of holding him.
Have you tried? We're not fans of whole life, but sometimes whole life is more has a bigger span of what they accept than term life. Term life can be sometimes more narrow, I guess you could say, health wise. Yeah. Have you guys applied for stuff? Yeah. Have you applied for whole life by chance?
I did inquire about because he recently just turned 50.
Yeah.
So I went through like the Colonial Penn, you see the ads. I'm like, oh, he's 50, I can get life insurance.
Yeah.
And it was just outrageous.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. What's your
outrageously priced? I'm like, I'd rather put that in my savings account.
Yeah. What's your combined income?
He makes, he brings home about $88 a year, and I'm around 24.
Okay. And do you guys have kids?
We have a 10-year-old and a 14-year-old.
Okay.
So I'm kind of like, I stayed home for 5 years, and then when my little one went to kindergarten, I started going back to work, and then COVID hit, and then I took a hiatus, and so I've kind of been floating between part-time jobs. So
Okay.
I have a part-time job during the week, and then I walk dogs and dog sit as my side hustle.
Okay. Yeah, because the reason for life insurance, and for those of you listening and watching, it is, in case something happens to you, that your income can be replaced if people are dependent upon it. So in the off chance, Lisa, and obviously we would never pray for this, but if something happened to him, in a perfect world here in the next couple of months, you would have 6-month emergency funds. You guys would be paying down on the house after that. After putting some money away in retirement. And at that case, if there's a level that he just doesn't qualify, then there's no other option but to continue to put yourself in the best financial position. And that would be, in my opinion, to be paying down on the house. I would be putting money away for retirement. Do you guys have retirement saved at all?
Yes, I have a traditional 401k that was a rollover.
Okay.
And that's got about 120 in it.
Okay. And does he have any?
We have 2 small, very small Roth accounts that we are, have good intentions, but.
Sure. Yeah. So what I would do is after that 6-month emergency fund, I would go down the baby steps and fund that 15% of your income into retirement. You both need to be doing that. And then
because you're
kids,
young
college,
enough,
all of that.
Lisa, you're young enough that if, Lord willing, his health, and he lives quite a bit longer. And then if something were to happen with that initial investment you've got going on, you can make up some real ground. But the reason why we really want you to pay the house off is let's since you took us there, and it's a good question, let's stay there for a moment. Let's say that you pay the house off in the next 2 or 3, 4 or 5 years. Is that about what that would take? Did I get that right, or is it more than that?
Well, if we take what we're putting towards the debt right now, I calculated that it would knock 5 years, 8 months off of it. So it would be about 6 years.
Okay. So let's just say that 6 years from now, the home is paid off and you've been investing as Rachel's been telling you to do, and something happens to him. While you don't have a huge insurance policy, what you have is a paid for home. And just imagine being on your own with the kiddos right now and not having a house payment. You just have to, that's a lot of peace, is it not?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so the idea of, because if you were to call us 6 years from now and we'd want you to pay off the house with all that cash that you would have stocked away.
That's right.
And so I want to give you kind of that full view of what we're saying here, because at this point now, the most important thing in your life is your home, especially when, you've got kiddos. And so in that situation, you are in some ways self-insured because you can always downsize and sell the home and get a chunk of cash. So that's why we're saying go for the house and live wide open, praying that, he's going to be okay, because we don't know what tomorrow holds. And it's not going to be paid off tomorrow anyway, and you're not going to have a bunch of cash tomorrow anyway either. So really go that direction. That's why we're telling you that. That's going to put you in the best place of peace, which is what insurance is about anyway, is peace.
I agree. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you bet. Appreciate you sharing that story with us.
And Lisa, I would check out Xander Insurance as well.
Yeah.
You can go to Xander.com and just, look around, because they are an insurance broker where they'll go and shop multiple companies and not just one. Because if the one you mentioned, you call one number for one company, you're going to get just one answer, where they actually do. And again, he may not qualify at all because of all the pre-existing conditions. But it's worth a shot one more time, just here for the next few years. But yeah, maybe check them out.
All right, let's go to another social media question. You ready? You did so well on the last one. I thought, well, she needs some more.
Put me in the hot seat.
This is Riley from Facebook. Thoughts on giving your adult children money toward a down payment on their house?
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm picking the good ones today.
This is a good one.
What do you think? I'll wait for you.
I do have thoughts on this, because initially...
Lady in the front row says no. Okay,
initially people are that. They're like, absolutely not. Nope, they need to work for it.
Mm-hmm.
But what's interesting, Ken, we talked to so many people recently that have called this show that are young. I mean, they're 28 and they're paying off their house. They're doing crazy good stuff, with their money. They're going to build wealth really quickly. And so by the time that 28-year-old that calls us that doesn't have a mortgage payment, by the time they're in their 50s and their kids are buying houses, they're going to have multi-millions of dollars, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's a point that changing your family tree, is it not enabling, but is there a financial benefit to saying, hey, kids, we can fast forward
I agree 100%.
your financial picture so that what if we help you and then they become 28 and debt free? They start investing. They change their kid, and the line keeps changing,
and the
right?
stipulation to this is, and I agree, you have to have the margin to do so.
Yes.
You are not borrowing from your baby steps.
That's right.
You aren't borrowing from your progress.
And it's not
It's gotta be
enabling.
extra.
You have to know your kids, and
That's
they
right.
still have to have the dignity to be adults and to stand on their own and know how to work.
That's right.
But, we were talking to Dr. Arthur Brooks from Harvard. He's a Harvard professor, and he talks about happiness. And he said, one of the benefits of this is to be able to pour into your kids financially within assets, and that's education, that's home. Like, if you can do that, fast forward the timeline for them, they start building wealth earlier to help their kids. It's just the trickle down effect. I don't know. I'm not fully against it on those
Good.
those two speculations.
Gotta run. This is the Ramsey Show.
Hey guys, it's Rachel Cruze here to tell you about a faith-based alternative to health insurance that can make healthcare more affordable. Christian Healthcare Ministries. CHM allows members to share each other's healthcare costs, and it's as easy as 1, 2, 3. Step 1, choose the healthcare provider you want. Step 2, submit your eligible bills. And Step 3, get reimbursed. CHM members take care of your eligible medical bills. With no networks and the freedom to choose your healthcare provider, CHM is the best option for Christians who want to take care of their families and help other believers. Find out more at chministries.org/budget.
Welcome back to the Ramsey Show. Excited to have you with us. I'm Ken Coleman. And the graceful Rachel Cruze is alongside today. Yeah, I know. I'm trying to look for another adjective. So how about that?
I'll take graceful.
You'll take
Thanks,
it?
Ken.
All right, very
Thanks,
nice.
Ken.
Hey, today's question of the day is brought to you by Why Refi. Politicians make a lot of promises, and sometimes they might even keep one or two. But if you're in over your head with private student loans, don't rely on the government. Contact Why Refi. Why Refi refinances defaulted private student loans and gives you a low fixed rate loan built for you. Go to whyrefi.com/Ramsey today. That's the letter Y, REFY.com/Ramsey. It may not be available in all states.
All right, today's question comes from Elizabeth in Missouri. We have 2 elementary school age kids, 5 and 7. We budget for the kids to buy school lunch once a week. The school is cashless, so we add money to an account to be used for the kids to scan their ID card in the lunch line. In addition to the regular lunch, the school sells snacks at checkout. We have told the kids that they can get lunch, but would have to pay us back from their piggy bank money for any extra treats that they buy. Initially, we thought this would be a good intro in teaching them about money management, but then realized that it's more like buying on a credit card and then paying mom and dad back later. Are we teaching them that credit is okay with this plan in the cashless system where there's no tangible money to be exchanged? How else can we teach young kids about money management? Oh, that's funny. No, I don't think that's teaching them about debt. I'm like, they're
as long as the pain comes from the piggy bank, they're learning.
Yes. And the reality is too, you're teaching them about money management in 2024. I mean, there's a lot of
that's a good point.
Cashless, vendors and retailers that it is what it is. So what are you going to do with that with your debit card and all? So that doesn't bother me.
Great. I think this is great actually, because treats at school is ground zero for kids learning to kind of be content. You're the queen of contentment over there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you think about it. That's where their greatest temptation
I know.
to spend
my kids
is
buy
the
at school.
treats.
Do
you have a story?
This just felt close to home because our school is the exact same way. And there's an app, of course, that you go and you can load and use Apple Pay to load the money back in the school lunches, all of it. And I didn't know this. This is back when my oldest this was a few years ago, when I didn't know how everything worked. And one of my friends was like, you can go back and look and see what all they've bought. And I was like, what? No. And sure enough.
Tracking little Amelia's spending, are you?
Sure enough, there were treats upon treats upon treats. And I was like,
sweet girl.
I was like, I know. Well, I
course.
just said Amelia. She was like, well, some of my friends wanted some. She was buying some for other kids. And I was like, no. So the teachers are great because when they're little like that, like first, second grade, you can email them and even tell the teacher, hey, they're only allowed a treat on Fridays. And they kind of help, manage it. But some of these kids, it wasn't always just Amelia, but some of these kids are bartering and, hey, you pay me that and I'll get you. I mean, they figure out how to work the system, those little ones.
It's like an open air market overseas.
It's amazing, yeah.
I like it. I like it. She wasn't buying treats for little Johnny, was she?
Do it. Who's little Johnny?
I don't know. I'm making it up.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I don't think so.
All right. Very good.
That'd be Caroline, probably. Let's be honest.
I love it. All right. Let's go to Davenport, Iowa, where Daniel is. Daniel, how can we help today?
Hey, Ken. Hey, Rachel. How are you doing today?
Good. What's going on?
So I'm wondering if I should stay with my current employer or if I should start looking for a different job.
Tell me more. I got to know more. Should we stay or should we go is the question.
So I am a husband and a father. I got 3 little girls, and I got another one due in about 4.5 weeks.
Wow. Congratulations.
Thank you. All girls.
Oof. I'll pray for you.
God bless you.
Yeah.
Lots of prayers right now. So my current employer, I told them that my family's growing and what I'm making there just currently isn't cutting it. And just being professional, I informed them I'm a trucker. So I informed them I'm getting my hazardous materials endorsement to get a job that pays me more money, a job where I can be home daily so I can be with my girls every night.
Great.
They had no problem with that. They understood. But then they asked me to wait about a couple days to a week later, saying that there could be a significant raise coming down the pipe because they did some third-party research in our area and found out that their salary is pretty bottom of the barrel.
Okay.
So that was about 4 months ago, and I've been kind of politely pestering them. And there has been no raise thus far, and every time I ask about it, they just say because it has to get shot up to corporate, and they say that corporate has not given them an answer thus far.
Yeah, so you're being stonewalled. So this was 4 months ago that they told you hang out for about 4 days or a week. So I love the fact that you have taken this into your own hands and getting that extra licensing. So when are you elligible to step into that role or driving those hazardous materials, which gets you the big raise and a better schedule?
Well, you have to get like fingerprint and all this stuff through like the federal government and everything. And I've done all that. I literally just have to go to the DMV and take the test. I've taken the test twice, but it's a very hard test and I missed it by 4 questions last time. So I just passed the test, get the endorsement, and I can walk onto these jobs.
Let's go. But do not quit yet. We got a baby on the way, 3 girls at home, a lot of responsibilities. Do not leave this current employer until we have the other gig lined up. That's my clear-cut advice on that. So let's go. Stop waiting for this current company, my friend Daniel. The current company, they're not going to call you back. It's. I remember in high school, like I'd have some buddies that I always got the quick clue, Rachel. But I had some buddies who would ask a girl out about 3 or 4 times. After the second no, it's time to move on, and they're not answering your question. They're kicking it up to corporate, and I'm not even sure they're talking to anybody in corporate. So the sign is on the wall is what I'm getting at. It's time for you to take the next test. Let's get this thing done, and let's move on.
Okay. Now I'm only allowed 1 question, correct?
No, I'm kidding. Go ahead. When I say we'll allow it, I'm being a smart aleck.
I took this. This just takes care of my immediate, but I actually took your Get Clear assessment.
Okay, great.
And so I just kind of wanted some guidance on that.
Sure.
I'll just tell you my purpose statement and got it memorized.
Okay.
But I was created to use my talents of I thought I had it memorized. My talents of communication, instruction, and imagination.
Okay.
To perform my passions of leadership, advising, and performing to fulfill my mission of service by providing assistance and security.
Gotcha. So what's coming off there for me is that's a lot of people work, people and ideas, right? So when there's some creativity in that, but mostly all of those answers were driving at you're good at people stuff and you enjoy people work, correct?
Correct, yeah.
All right. So at that point now, I mean, you if you don't have the book, Find the Work You're Wired to Do, I'm going to give it to you. Do you have the book? Because you need some more coaching.
I currently have it checked out from the library.
Oh, well, fantastic. I'm going to give it to you for free today.
And from Paycheck to Purpose.
Great.
So.
I'll give you both for free today. Christian, let's get this guy hooked up here in just a minute. We'll give you both for free. But here's what you've got to do. What you've got to do is take that purpose statement and you now look at that as a job description. Okay? Because it's all laid out for you. So now you go, okay, if this is a job description for me, then where in my area, where in the world of work where I live, are jobs open that allow me to do this? It's that simple. So you're not sitting around scratching your head. What am I supposed to do? So it's you're going to be doing people work. You talked about the imagination piece, the instruction piece. So that is a communicative. You have the communication, instruction, and imagination. That is, you are going to be working with people, training them. The leadership thing popped up there. The advising thing popped up. So, guide, instructor, coach, that's the type of thing you're looking for. But it may take some time to get into that. So I really like the path that we're on. Let's move into the hazardous materials right now, as soon as we can. Bump up that salary. New baby. Let's get everything stable there. And then let's take the steps next to go into that work that you were absolutely wired to do. Hang on the line, Daniel. You're a good man. You've already got your sign. Your current company, they're not going to bring the race. Let's move on. Hang on the line. We'll get you those 2 books, and I'll coach you through via the book. All right, quick break. She's Rachel Cruze. I'm Ken Coleman. This is The Ramsey Show. We'll be right back.
Your home is probably the biggest purchase you'll ever make. And with the real estate market like it is now, you'll need a mortgage company you can trust. That's Churchill Mortgage. You guys, buying a home is not a button push. It's a process. It takes building a relationship with an expert who will dig into the details and give you peace of mind without busting your budget. Churchill is one of the highest rated lenders in the country. And they're Ramsey trusted because they do what's right for you. Go to ChurchillMortgage.com to get started.
Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I'm Ken Coleman, and Rachel Cruze is joining me right now for you. 888-825-5225 is the phone number. So if you've been paying attention to the news, and I imagine most of you have, you're seeing that the real estate market, you're paying attention to that, like, mortgage rates are coming down off of some highs over the last several years. Still probably some room to go. But the point is, don't sit around waiting. If you've got the money and you're ready to go, the Ramsey Trusted Program is the only way to find an agent that you can trust to keep you on track with what we teach here at Ramsey and get the best offer on your house or find the right house for you. These Ramsey Trusted agents of years of experience will help you make wise decisions. Find a Ramsey Trusted real estate agent for free at RamseySolutions.com/agent, or you can click the link in the description if you're listening on YouTube or your favorite podcast app. That's RamseySolutions.com/agent. Erie, Pennsylvania is where Susan is joining us. Susan, how can we help today?
Hi, Rachel. Hi, Ken. Thank you for taking my call. My husband and I are on baby step 7, and I'm calling today to get your advice on the type of loan to apply for to cover the startup expenses for my brick and mortar takeout business.
Tell me more about these expenses.
The expenses would be about $250,000, which would cover the kitchen setup plus the contracting to actually make this happen and the, food and things necessary to actually get going.
So it's takeout only, not dine-in?
Yes, sir. You got it. Takeout only.
Have you been doing this like via your house right now with like a startup kitchen and then you're wanting to move, or what's been your history in this?
So my history is just that I've been cooking my whole life, but no, I have not done this professionally.
What kind of food?
So we're going to specialize in smoked meats, plus a couple like great family recipes that I've had for, 40 years, and kind of just whatever I feel like making.
Have you ever sold any of this amazing stuff? I mean, just
I
even
have,
on
yes,
Facebook.
sir.
Yeah, tell us, Rachel's on to something here, and I agree with her. What have you sold? Like how much and what? Give us an idea.
As far as quantity, or
yeah,
far as,
how
money.
have you sold
How much have you
it?
made?
Is it on Facebook? Are you selling $500 worth in a year? $20,000? That's what we're trying to get a picture of.
Right now, I'm selling maybe $500 a year.
Yeah, you're not ready to launch into a business, whether it's in your backyard or like you've got to prove that this thing can actually make money. We know you can cook.
Right, and so I have done it. I mean, I know that this will make money.
No, you don't.
It's through my business plan, which, because I've read Christy Wright's book, Business Boutique, my business plan and my market research have confirmed my...
But
I love Christy Wright, and I love that book. But if Christy were sitting here with us right now, I'm fairly certain
she would say, be cooking out of your garage.
You've got to start cooking and selling in your home. That's how we prove it. Everything else is on paper. And I love your moxie. And please, Susan, I am not in any way trying to discourage you. We just don't want you to go get a loan.
For $250,000, Susan.
For something you've not proven.
And restaurants are the number one small businesses that close.
Yeah.
The number one.
High risk, low margin.
Yes. I mean, food is honestly, one of the worst industries in a sense to get into. But if you're just looking at numbers from an industry standpoint. So what I would do, what I would do, Susan, if I were you, I would not take out this loan, and I would start to cash flow this business. Meaning, I would get up and I would be selling, $8,000 to $10,000 worth out of my kitchen, which then, you're able to go and then buy some equipment for the garage, start cooking out of there, start making your way little by little to the point that you guys are flooded with cash, flooded with customers. You keep turning people away, and then you start moving up. But you're going from point A to point Z is what it feels like. I mean, you're going all the way in.
Yeah.
From a location standpoint. Okay, but it's not.
I'm going.
It is, and
all the way in. I own my brick and mortar. I own the LLC.
You own the building.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, but you need $250,000.
I do to purchase the equipment.
Susan, I love your spunk. But a minute ago you said, I agree with you both, but it doesn't sound like you agree with us. So where are we off here? You still think you need a $250,000 loan?
Yes.
Okay. We don't think you need it. You got to prove it. You haven't proven this. You haven't even lined up catering contracts that within several $1,000s to where you're delivering brisket for a local small business annual dinner with 250 people.
That's right.
Like, I got to prove that before I would ever go this route.
Well, that's correct, but that's not, my vision isn't a restaurant, and my vision isn't catering.
I know
and
that.
I'm fulfilling a need.
No, no, you're not. We don't know if there's a need yet. You haven't proven that there's a need for your food. I think your food's probably great. What I'm telling you is,
are you having to turn down customers right now?
No. She doesn't have any customers. And I'm not trying to talk you into catering. I was making an example of this is how we make money with your food. And we got to prove that first.
Yeah, and you're cooking in bulk. You're cooking in all of this to do the takeout and all of it. So I would be doing takeout dinners, Susan, from your house right now, and I would getting a Facebook group. There's a mom in our school, and she bakes, And she has 4 refrigerators stocked in her garage. And every Friday there's a sale. And she's like, whatever I don't sell you. I mean, and she has an Instagram account, Susan, with thousands of followers. I mean, and people that want birthday cakes, they come to her, all of this, right? So like she's proven out of her home.
That's right.
Without a loan to do all of this. And as this starts cash flowing, then she's able to step up and say, okay, now I'm going to extend and I'm going to go share a space with someone, right? It's moving at the speed of cash, Susan. And that's what we're cautioning you with, is that the idea may be perfect. I mean, moms that need food to go, like, yes, all day. Right. But I want to see the list of people that are going to be buying from you. I want to see, your social media account, your email list, like start building out this business so that when you do open up at the brick and mortar, you have the cash and you have the clientele that's going to be rushing to be able to cash flow and keep your business afloat. Does that make sense?
It does make sense.
Susan, have you ever watched Shark Tank?
Yes.
Okay. So it's because I don't want Rachel and I to seem like bad guys here. But if you've ever watched Shark Tank, this would be like you standing in front of them going, I need a $250,000 investment. Because that's essentially what this is a loan. And you're going to invest in yourself. And that's a $250,000 loan. If you were standing in front of the sharks right now and said, I'm looking for a $250,000 investment, and they walked you through, okay, well, what's your annual revenue? What have you sold? And you said $500. What do you think they'd say to you?
They would laugh at me.
Okay. We're not laughing at you. We're gently saying, please don't do this. You are spending, here's what you asked us. Should I spend $250,000 to make $500? Because that's all you've made at this point. We don't have it yet. Please listen to what Rachel's saying. I promise you, it's the safest way to go. If you believe in yourself this much, here's what I'd say. Do you think you can make $100,000 your first year? I venture to say, Susan, you'd probably say yes. All right. So then let's go at it for 2.5 years on your own and then buy your super fancy pants equipment because you already own the brick and mortar. You're halfway there. So be patient.
Yeah.
Be patient.
Or rent equipment. See if there's a business going out, right? Like find creative ways, because the hard thing is...
Not yet. I don't want her spending any money other than what she has in her home. I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
No,
that's fair. I know, but find creative ways.
Can we get 50 families?
Yes.
To commit to X amount of dollars to order her takeout dinners.
Yep, that's right.
For 6 months. We got to start to prove it on a simple level.
Totally, because I don't want to get the call, Susan, a year from now and say, I have a $150,000 loan I got to pay back because something didn't work, right? That's the risk you take on when you take on debt. And Christy's book would say, do not take on debt.
We should have phoned a friend.
I should have called Christy.
I know. We'll call her on the break. She agrees with us. Hey, good call. Thanks for the call. This is The Ramsey Show.
Hey, what are you still doing here? You know the rest of the show's happening on the Ramsey Network app, right? So you got to jump over there to continue watching. You can download it for free. Just go to your app store, type in Ramsey Network. It's completely free, and I'll drop a link in the show notes to make it easy for you. So if you're watching on the app, you're in luck. But if you're watching anywhere else, this show is over for you. So jump onto the app and let the fun continue. All right. Go on now. Don't make it weird. Okay, I got nowhere to go, so you need to go. Okay, bye-bye now. All right, it's getting weird over there, guys. What do we do?